Nowadays, before streaming, there was a device that sat in the middle of every living room. This beautiful box was called a television. On this is where you got all your entertainment as a kid back then. You didn't have much any other choice, TV or go outside. The only problem was the fact that there wasn't much safe, appropriate content on TV for kids to watch. Enter the world of cable. If you paid $60 a month, you would get all the good channels, such as Cartoon Network, Disney Channel, etc. There was one channel that stood out. This channel was called Nickelodeon. In this video, we will break down not Nickelodeon, but its morning block, known as Nick Jr.
Nick Jr. Nick Jr. Nick Jr. Sing it!
Nick Jr. was a morning block released on Nick on January 4th, 1988. Nickelodeon was very chaotic with shows like Cat Dog and All Real Monsters in the 90s. Nick Jr. provided a more cozy and relaxed vibe. At the time, Nick Jr. didn't have any original programs yet, so the only program consisted of one Nickelodeon original show, Pinwheel. Pinwheel would air on Nickelodeon and Nick Jr. until its last episode premiered in 1990. Along with Pinwheel were other shows from outside of America, such as Belle and Sebastian, The Elephant Show, David the Gnome, and Mapletown. Around September of 1988, the logo changed to have the word Junior, abbreviated to the classic JR it is today. The logo consisted of two circles, one orange and one blue, that would shift into pretty much any shape. Finally, the block rebranded in 1993 and took up the slogan, Grow, Learn, and Play. With the rebrand came the iconic orange parent and blue child logo appearing on April 5th of that year. This logo would last for 21 years. 1989. In 1989, Nick Jr. created Eureka's Castle, their first original show ever. Every other show until this point was acquired from different creators outside the country, mostly from the UK and Canada. In my opinion, Eureka's Castle had some beautiful puppets and was the program's attempt to create its own Sesame Street. It worked to some degree, yet most of the show is lost to media. Along with Eureka's Castle came Allegra's Window. This show is incredibly hard to find any video of. The show also used puppets and didn't succeed as much as Eureka's Castle. In the 90s, the block would have multiple investments with the Muppets, resulting in a whole Muppet Hour by 1994. Now you would think that with these investments, the block would be doing well, right? Wrong. The block was doing very bad, if not worse than its parent company. The block couldn't compete, with the then very popular PBS Kids and the popular PBS and the newly created PBS Kids. Nick Jr. would take a break and come back in late 1994. With this comeback, they created Gullah Gullah Island. This show was a barrier breaker, being one of the first shows of its kind to feature a predominantly black cast with a complete black family and black community, and create a child-friendly sitcom. Binya Binya is the family pet and isn't even the main character. the family is. This shows that programs don't always have to have stimulating characters or visuals at the center to keep little children engaged. This show would be a big success, bringing in 750,000 views an episode. This show put Nick Jr. on the map. These shows, along with the new mascot, Face, gave the block a 50% uptake in viewership. 1995 is looking bright. Before we move on, everybody meet Face.
Hey, Queen.
As this was happening, the block would acquire the IPs of Rupert, The Busy World of Richard Scarry, and Little Bear. These shows couldn't properly succeed, except for Little Bear, because in 1996, a little blue dog would take over the world. Not that blue dog. In 1994, a pilot for a brand new show about a blue dog was created. The show was supposed to be about a blue cat, but was changed to a dog because Nickelodeon already had a show about a cat, Ren and Stimpy. The show was originally called Blue's Prince. Kids universally called it Blue's Clues, thus the title change. Out of 1,500 actors, the children chose Steve Burns, who loved the show, but didn't want to make a career out of it. The show would be released on Nick and Night, the late night channel, on September 8th, 1996, and the next day on Nick Jr. The show blew up in 97, gaining 13.7 million views per viewer. To create the show, they used the same research as Sesame Street. This, along with new data, is why the show empowers kids, saying we can do anything that we want to do. The show would become the third biggest show on children's programming, only behind Arthur and Barney. Steve didn't want to be on the show forever, though, causing his departure. He would go on to create music such as the theme song for Young Sheldon. Blue's Clues gave the block the blow up it needed, wiping Gullah Gullah Island out completely as the #1 children's program, leaving Gullah Gullah Island to be forgotten. So yeah, you could say that the show was pretty popular and helped give Nick Jr. the boost it needed. In the late 1990s, book adaptations such as Kipper and Franklin were in succession. Bill Cosby also worked with Janice Burgess to create the show Little Bill. Remember her? Based on his upbringing. We will come back to that. Don't forget it. Around this time, promotion for the new Thomas movie was everywhere as well. Nobody paid attention though because of a little girl and her monkey. Nick Jr. wanted a new show to create the same success as Blue's Clues. They were aiming to combine Blue's Clues and Little Bear. Thus, Dora the Explorer was born. On August 13th, 2000, Dora would make a premiere. Dora would surpass Blue in numbers, being the first Latino character on TV. Used the same audience feedback format as Blue and teach Spanish at the same time. What a queen. The show would rank 1.3 to 2 million viewers per episode, teaching English in other countries, become a multi-million dollar franchise, and appeal to me. Dora was my favorite show as a little kid. I was obsessed. It's all I watched. I even had the backpack. There is a mysterious pilot for the show that is lost to media. put it out there. Someone please find this. Feedback from viewers said to get rid of Swiper the Fox, who terrified viewers. They decided to keep him anyway. I wasn't scared of him, more so the troll. I was terrified of him. Dora would win 10 awards, being nominated in many categories. Thank you, Dora, for the fun you gave us. Also, at the same time, Face would make his last broadcast in 2003. Older shows like Little Bear would be moved to Noggin to make room for more Dora and Blue, which would get their slot together in 2003. During this period, Nick Jr. would have a sort of cool down period, since Nickelodeon was becoming more corporative and only focusing on shows that made them money. Greedy Munchkins. During this period, they created a new section called Play Along, while also airing Oobi and Miffy shorts to promote Noggin. Oh, and remember when I said the face was gone? Remember when I said face was gone? Thankfully, this face wouldn't last long, ending in October 2004, thank goodness. He would be replaced by Piper Opossum. At the same time, Blue's Clues would enter its 6th season, introducing characters such as Periwinkle and Paprika. The 2nd season puppet show, Blue's Room, would also be introduced. Can I just say how beautiful the puppets looked? Especially Blue. Look at this.
Ooh, this is nice!
During this time, we would gain Miss Sunny's Spider Patch Kids and some real classics too. Back in the 1990s, a live action puppet hybrid show called Me and My Friends was in the works. Executives rejected it in favor of Dora, causing Nick Digital to pick it up. A live action pilot and a CGI pilot were both made, being lost to media. The show would become The Backyardigans, being made by Janice Burgess. Remember her from Little Bill? She thought that cartoons on TV were too violent and created a show about adventures in the kids' imagination, told through song and dance. This show premiered on September 11th of 2004. Songs such as Castaways and Into the Thick of It have gotten millions of listens on Spotify and are super popular on TikTok. They trended a couple years ago. In 2010, Burgess left the show to work on the Winx Club revival. During this time, obesity was becoming an increasingly greater problem among kids. The Icelandic play Go Go Lazy Town was turned into a show in 2007. Pixel, Stingy, Trixie, and Ziggy were all originally human and got turned into puppets for the show. Robbie Rotten was also added, ramping the budget for the pilot to $1 million. The show gained 1 million views, surpassing Dora's launch day record. Wow Wow Wubsy and Go Diego Go also aired around this era as Nick Jr. started working with Little Airplane Company. They worked with them before too. On March 3rd, 2006, Wonder Pets would air. After the success of Oobi, shorts about a guinea pig named Winnie were becoming the pilot script to Wonder Pets, a show using photo puppetry and realistic animal photos. In 2007, Yo Gabba Gabba was launched in August, and the Piper Opossum Bumpers would end a month later in 2008. Nihao Kai Land would be released in 2008. Nick Jr. would then go into a sort of downfall, as shows were either ending or being dumped into Noggin. Noggin and Nick Jr. would merge together in 2009, creating Nick Playday. This would be the first time that the block didn't have any mascot whatsoever. Team Umizoomi was the only show to release on Nick Playday, releasing in 2010. Nickelodeon would start to be played more in the afternoon and gained a new show in 2011 called Bubble Guppies. In 2012, a new section was added called Nick Mom. It was Nickelodeon, but for moms. This block didn't last long at all. At the same time, Nick Playday would end in 2014, gaining a new show, Blaze and the Monster Machines. I grew up with this stuff right here. In 2014, the Bill Cosby allegations came into light, causing Little Bill to be taken off the air, and caused the American Library Association to remove all Little Bill books from every library shelf in America. The only place to watch the show now is on Amazon Prime and whatever you can find on YouTube. By 2013, the Nick Jr. brand was back and would air the biggest show to date. You can probably guess what it is. In 2010, Ron and Harry made a prototype of a transforming toy truck. Spin Master, the toy company, wanted to do a show on transforming cars. These guys worked with Bob the Builder creator, Keith Chapman, to create Raffi and the Rescue Dogs, later becoming Paw Patrol. The show gained 5 million views over Dora the Explorer and Blue. The merchandise would garner over $1 billion. Paw Patrol would also gain 2 feature-length movies from Paramount Studio and a spin-off with Rubble. At the same time, Blue's Clues and You would launch on November 11th, 2019, being Nick Jr.'s last hit as of recent years. Everybody loves Nick Jr. Who doesn't? These shows are classic, weird, different, forgotten, but also special. And who would want more than that? Thank you for watching my video. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. I will still do the shorts, but please tell me if you liked these types of videos. Maybe next I'll do Cartoon Network or Playhouse Disney. Whatever you put in the comments. Nickelodeon is coming soon, don't you worry.